to the autism and special needs community. There's a quote that says, when a family focuses on ability instead of disability, all things are possible. So Wally and Zavy's autistic kids can do. You and your family, you focus on the possibilities, you focus on what our children are capable of doing, not what their limitations are. You push families to push their children to have hope, to still aspire for their dreams, to do any and everything that they feel they are capable of doing. And for that, we truly appreciate you.
Miss Selena, we want to say thank you so much for hosting this beautiful gala. We're so very proud of you. We really appreciate all of your commitment, your hard work, your dedication, your genuine love for us, for our families and for other families, and your authenticity, and what you do, really, because honestly, no one is doing what you do and how you do it. We really appreciate all of what you do. Thank you so much for this beautiful gala, and we look forward to many more galas to come. And we just want to say we love you, we thank you, and you will always be famous. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. I'd like to thank Talana for inviting myself, Comcast organization, to come out to this first event. Very nice event. Met a lot of great people, had a great time. I hope to do it again soon. Thank you very much.
I'd like to congratulate Ms. Hurst on the good work that she's doing and continues to do, and the difference that she's making in the community. And I wish her all Godspeed and blessings to be able to continue her work. And I'd like to let you know that I am here, available. If you think I can help you in any way, just please give me a call. Thank you.
So I just want you guys to know that we have a groundbreaking treatment, PRTMS, personalized repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation that can change the life of children with autism. Come in the office in Hackenstown, learn about it, get familiar with it, and then spread the word to change the life of children with autism. Thank you.
Charity is something I believe in. If it wasn't for charity and people helping me, I would not be here today, you know. So somebody who grew up in the inner city, single parent mom, single parent home, had struggles, and there was a lot of people like you guys that helped me through the way. So give yourself some round of applause. All right. Since I'm a police officer, I was educating police officers how to identify autistic children or people with special needs when they approach them, so they're not thinking that they're running from them or they're pose a threat. So that was one of the greatest accomplishments of my career, to be able to educate other police officers on how to slow it down and look for signs and just act. So just don't act first, take your time. So that was a great thing that we did together. So she's a very good dear friend of mine, and I'm so honored that she asked me to do this tonight. Without further ado, I want to call Jasneri up. She's going to introduce the board.
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Jasneri Padilla, and I'm a member of Wally's and Zavy Autistic Kids Can Do. So I would like to introduce our board members, Miss Michelle Hayes. Hello. Miss Eileen Marshall, who's not here right now, but she's also a board member. Miss Jolandis Alston, she's somewhere around. Okay. And then Miss Rochelle Gray, who's not here either, right? Okay. Miss Cheryl McKinnon. Okay. Leah Caldwell. Miss Cherie Davis, who's not here either. Miss Dana Edwards, who's here. Mr. George Wither, who's not here yet. Last but not least, our President and CEO, Ms. Selena Hertz. Thank you.
Wally and Xavier, can you stand? Xavier is still in a special needs school right now. He graduates next year. Wallace, I'm told by his boss that he's an anomaly. Wallace has been holding down a job at Chick-fil-A for 2.5 years. Chick-fil-A, one of the busiest fast food restaurants there is. And I am just so proud of them. These are some pictures of some of the kids in our program and the things that we do. Social meetups, our art program, to have the kids be able to express themselves. This is school supply giveaway, and that's them as preemies. Look how little they were. So I urge you guys, if you know anyone that has a child with a disability that's looking for resources and support, tell them to contact me. Our website is wallyandzavies.org, and we do our best to help parents as much as we possibly can to cover all the areas that are missed by school districts. Wow. That's open today. Our center it's called Wally and Zavy's Autistic Kids Can Do Inclusion Center. And before this is over, I will have two of my parents here that have a few words to say about the organization and how it has supported and helped them as well. Can we give it up for Dave and Jen Lavelle?
Good evening. My name is Dave Lavelle. I am currently the SAC and Camp Director for the Plainfield YMCA, part of the Greater Somerset County YMCA. I'm here standing with my wife, Jennifer.
Jennifer Lavelle.
She's gonna make me do all the talking. Just want to give you a heads up, because she knows I'm used to this. I want to say thank you for everybody for coming out and supporting Wally and Xavier's Autistic Kids Can Do. As special needs parents and special needs advocate, we met Miss Talina with our first child. Her name is Nyla Lavelle. She's going to be 12 this year. And we met Miss Talina by chance. We went to a bounce factory in Warren when it was open, and the owner saw that Nyla was having a little bit of challenge during the regular time frame where kids are coming in, and she pulled us over. Her name is Cheryl, and she said, listen, I have a sensory hour where you can bring your kids and you have other kids just like yours that will be able to enjoy the entire facility without feeling out of place. And that relationship started a conversation how we were looking for services and needed assistance for our daughter, and Lord and behold, we were given Miss Talina's telephone number. We met Miss Talina, and she automatically fell in love with our family and put us on the right track to, do some very phenomenal things with our child. She definitely taught us what it meant to be special needs parents, how to take on the resources, how to be advocate for not only for yourself, for other children, and build that passion into us. So when a few years later, when our son was diagnosed with autism, Arande, we were ready for it. And even though it was a different type of challenge, but at the end of the day, with Ms. Talina's support, Arande and Nyla are thriving in their placements, out of placements. Ms. Talina definitely taught us how to become in suited and booted with the right people to get things done in your school district. And definitely it worked out in our wonders, because when Arande finally placed out of his placement last year in 2nd grade, he actually graduated a year ahead at his placement, and now he's currently at Newmark School. And last month, Arande was deemed the student of the month. And it's all in for Miss Selena, and thank you for everything. And I'll pass it on to Jennifer if she has anything else to say.
I'm not great at public speaking. However, I definitely wanted to say that aside from what my lovely husband has said, a lot of organizations, they give you resources. So that means that they give you a piece of paper with numbers. And then you have to call the number, and that leads to another number, and then you're going down this rabbit hole, like, where am I gonna get the information? Miss Selena and her organization is a direct source, and is gonna give you the meat and potatoes. You don't have to go for the salad. No, she's gonna give you the entree from the beginning, okay? And she gives a personal touch. When we say she fell in love with Nyla, she genuinely showed that she cared for not only her, but the whole entire family. And she showed us how to navigate through special education to get what we need for our child. So the district is not like, oh, well, a child for the typical age of 9. No, what does Nyla need? What does Arande need? And so she takes that approach with every single child in the family that she cares for. And not Miss Selena is family now. Miss Selena is auntie, Miss Selena is grandma, Miss Selena. She's family to us now. And so this is what the relationship we've cultivated, not only with us, but also with other families. And I cannot advocate more. I cannot advocate enough for Miss Selena and what she has done for our family and what she's done for other children and their families. And we were just ecstatic when we found that she had an inclusion center, so that now the whole community can come to her center and get all of the special services that she offers. No one in this area does what she does. No one. And so I just want to say thank you so much, Mrs. Hurst. Thank you so much to Mr. Hurst, and he's always in the background of the scenes. We really appreciate everything.
As always, shout out to the boys who we pretty much growing up with them too over the last years. And thank you very much. We're done.
I met Frank Flute, my partner, about 7 years ago, and his son was nonverbal, walking on his toes 7 years ago. He brought him out to California for this TMS treatment. I never heard of it. And he came back walking and talking. Okay, so you're going to hear from Frankie here in a minute. And so I started to get an interest in this. I helped Frank try to raise some money. He opened one clinic with another doctor, but that didn't work out for him. Anyway, so I probably studied for about 1.5 years and researched it 2 years, put together a business plan, and we opened up the clinic in Hackettstown, New Jersey. Somebody said, why Hackettstown, New Jersey? Many people don't even know where it is, but it's 2 miles from Frank's house. And Frank basically lives there. So I live in Monmouth County, 2 hours away, okay? So we opened in Hackettstown. We found a beautiful building. We put 2 clinical rooms together. We have 2 TMS machines, MagVenture machines. Now, these machines are FDA approved, okay? And the treatment is only approved for depression right now. So I'm going to introduce in a minute Dr. Linda. She's our doctor on staff. And we collect insurance just for depression, not on autism yet. But we're doing trials now. Our doctor that oversees our program is out in San Diego. Dr. Murphy is phenomenal. He's been doing this for 15 years. He had a son that was autistic. The guy is just simply brilliant. And he put together the software to be able to use so that we can so that Dr. Linda can prescribe the therapy that needed with the TMS machine. So essentially, let me just tell you real quickly what it is. It's a non-invasive therapy where there's a magnet that sits on top of the head, away from the head, and it gives a very mild pulse, okay, into one of the 5 parts of the brain. And it reconnects the synapses. She'll tell you more about it. I don't understand it all. All I know is that it works. I have a gentleman that just got finished last week. He works with me. He's from West Virginia. I happen to be a public adjuster now for the past 10 years, so I fight insurance companies. That's what I do. But he came up from West Virginia for 2 treatments a day the past 2 weeks, and then he went to 3 treatments a day, 2 hours apart. So he brought himself up here with his wife. He was shot 13 times. He was a cop, okay? And he fell off a roof. Then he had another accident. This guy's prone to accidents, but he was in bad shape, okay? And he was having 6 seizures a day. After 3 days of treatment with us, his seizures went from 6 seizures a day, 18 in 3 days, to 2 in 3 days. And after 2 weeks, he has no more seizures. But on top of that, his wife's with him. She's crying. She's like, he's a new man. He's unbelievable. He was walking with a certain gait, okay? He's walking very normally now. Even his facial features have changed. So how does this work? All I know is that I had my son treated for 15 treatments, and he's very high functioning. He's on a spectrum, but we would do, and you're going to see a picture of that later with, I don't know if it was Wally or Zavy. Zavy. Okay, and with the EEG machine or cap on, and we take an EEG reading of the brain, and then what happened with my son, we had an EEG, we sat with the doctor. Doctor never met my son, and Dr. Linda, and he said, how did your son get through school? I said, it was rough, let me tell you, okay? And he said, he's all over the map, okay? And his hearing seems to be very high functioning. His auditory is very high functioning. I said, when he was 5 years old, he used to say, hey, Dad, do you hear that? I'm like, hear what? He said, the sirens. I don't hear a thing, And I'd open the window, and sure enough, there were sirens out there. So these kids with these certain senses that are very high functioning, like hearing, he's at a very high auditory sense. He can't sit through school, okay? He couldn't sit in this room right now. He just said, Dad, I gotta go. He'll do it now. He's 25. He said, Dad, I gotta go. There's too much noise, too many things. He hears everything, But the amazing thing is, Dr. Murphy, he read his EEG before he met Xavier. And it was like he was telling his life story. He said he's got this, he's that. Does he do this? He told us all about Xavier just by reading his EEG, which was pretty amazing to me. So we have definitive proof that this works. This is not some voodoo thing or something, There's a lot of crazy things out there where they're going to, places will promise you certain therapies that may work, may not. This is very successful. PRTMS is about 85 to 90% successful or receptive. The patient is receptive. 10-15%, there's no receptivity to it. But for the most part, it's pretty receptive. TMS has been around for years. Now, a lot of hospitals are getting these TMS machines, but that's TMS. It doesn't have the software that Dr. Murphy developed to be able to read these EEGs. So we have definitive proof. Once we treat somebody for a week, 5 treatments, and look at their EEG, you can see where the brain waves have changed. It's pretty amazing. To me, it's like a miracle. So we've had a lot of success. We had one man in there, young man, he's 25 years old, never spoke, okay, was nonverbal. After about 4 weeks of treatment, his mother came in, she was crying. He said his first 4 words, okay? So we know this works, this treatment works. So that's the good news. I want to bring Linda up real quick and introduce her. She's our on-site doctor that will be doing prescribing, and she interprets the EEGs. So why don't you say hello, Linda?
Hi, everyone. Like John said, my name is Dr. Linda Logain. My background, I'm a family nurse practitioner, psych mental health nurse practitioner. Hold my degrees from Rutgers, and I am the provider on site at Neural Health Center. And Wally and Zavy, what Autistic Kids Can Do, is an amazing organization. Myself, I do have a child with mild spectrum autism. He's 19. He's currently in Germany playing soccer. So I do understand the struggles of parents with autistic children. When he was diagnosed, Wally, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't speak at 3 years old. No resources. Yes, no resources, nobody to talk to, right? It's a little bit taboo sometimes. So I really commend you for having an organization like that that can readily give resources to parents. Because at that time, you don't know what to do. And to have the resources to know how to help your child, because you don't know what to do, like helpless at that time. So having to have that resources, and you go to the Board of Education, not much help. So so having to have an organization where you have other parents going through the same thing and holding their hands and giving the resources are amazing. So what we do at Rural Health Center, John said, we brain map. We do like a brain map. So we do an EEG, glueless EEG, not the regular EEG where you put the glue in. So you go in, we map, we put the leads where we map 19 areas of your brain. We have like a brain rhythm, just like you do an EKG. You have like a pattern. Here we're measuring the brain pattern, and then we can tell from your EEG what's going on. If you have a headache, if you have some neurological deficiencies, if you're depressed, if you're anxious, if you have ADHD. Once we map your brain, now we go through a survey. We give parents a survey to kind of have a quantitative analysis of the child's symptoms. And now we do have a software comes up with a treatment plan for your child. A lot of people say, well, Linda, we know about TMS. What is PRTMS? PR is personalized according to your brain rhythm. Regular TMS is just one size fits all. You go in, they give the pulses, the stimulation. It's the same for every single person. And the reason why we can use PR for children is because it's personalized. They have developing brain. So we can't just stimulate them with any impulses. We do have to map it. So once we do personalize, it's repetitive. So we have to usually probably 2-3 months worth of treatment because we have to do it very slowly. So we're putting those pulses in the brain, and by doing so, it increases connectivity in some neural activity because we have a dysrhythmia. It's a brain dysrhythmia. We don't know why. Too often, we don't know why they have those symptoms. So we hopefully creating a balance, increasing connectivity. Some of those symptoms that those children are having are gonna get better. So in our centers, we've treated probably close to 200 children. And we've noticed, because we don't know specifically what area will get better, some areas, when parents come, they have a variety. Like we know autism is a spectrum. So, so depending on what the child is having, we hoping to have an improvement in some areas. It could be sleep. Some children are sleeping, they've never slept before. Some of them are very picky eater, now they can eat. And now they can eye contact. Now they can look, they're aware, they can hug, they can hold hands, they can go on boat rides, they can go, they can bike ride. Those are the things they've never done before. They can babble, because they're completely nonverbal, now they can babble, right? And that's changing, that's a beacon of hope. Because when you have a child with autism, that's all, you go to a neurologist, and they give you a diagnosis, and that's it. And you go your merry way, you figure it out. Here we have an organization that say, well, you can do ABA therapy, you can do speech, those are the resources. And guess what, there's also PRTMS. This is a hope for the children where there's no hope. Yes. We're giving that hope. So, and we're here. We are the only center in the Northeast. There's no PRTMS anywhere. We have people coming from Albania.
coming from Canada, coming from South Carolina, from Maryland, from DC, from everywhere. So we have to spread the word. We have to just talk word to mouth because it's not in the news, right? So we have to share this hope to every parent with a child with autism. So I think that's it.
That's it. Thank you.
If you guys want, you guys can come to the center. I'm here. If you have any questions, I'm available, usually on Zoom, or you can come and check it out. You come, you look at the device, you look at the center, and we ask questions. We're there for you. Thank you.
Eric, stand up, Eric. Eric and Gloria brought her grandson, Eric, handsome young man. He came out to our clinic a few times.
He wouldn't have been able to stay in here because
he wouldn't have been able to
he
stay
couldn't
in.
take noise.
That's right.
He would leave.
Yeah. So he's had a great improvement himself. Eric's going to be a fine young man. He's growing up now, and he looks pretty sharp too.
I have so much to say about Mrs. Hurst, but I want everyone to stand up so we can honor her for all the stuff that she does for all the children. If it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for you do the things and see the things, the special things in all the children, not one, you treat everybody the same when they come to our center. You love everybody the same. You don't make the kids feel different. When they walk in the door, when we have our art class, they excited to be in a place where they can have game day. They excited because they are one-on-one. They don't be treated different. You love on each and every person, so we honor you. We honor you for doing the things that you do for all the kids, not just one kid, not just your kids, all the kids. And I just want to say, I've been volunteering with Ms. Hurst for 7 years. So within the 7 years I've been volunteering with her, I saw the good and the bad and the indifference. And one thing I could say about her, she do what she got to do, with the board or without the board. She gonna make it happen. But one thing I say, I love her. That's my ride or die chick. When you see her, you definitely gonna see me. I'm somewhere in the cut, looking, making sure everybody treat her right. Cause she's a queen. She's a queen. She's a queen. She look out for everybody. Everybody. And it's time for us to look out for you. All the people that you touched, one by one, I just want to say this. One day I was sitting in the office and she was reading an IUP for this lady, for this woman. And when she finished talking, I started crying and I was like, girl, yo, I ain't know you go with lawyers, real lawyers, with real money. You just little Miss Hurst. But all the stuff that you say, all the stuff that she says, all the IUPs that she read, she make sure she dot that I, cross that T. If she feel as though your son or your daughter should not be in a certain school, she gonna make sure she gonna go in there and get them out so they can make sure they get the proper help that they need. She not gonna let your son or daughter stay in a place where she know they're not growing. She want every kid to grow. My girl back there? Yeah, you. Come here. Miss Hurst teach drones too. She do drones. And I don't mean to put my baby on the spot, but I told her I would stand up here with her.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jasmine Espinosa. I'm 20 years old and I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism, at around the age of 9. Currently, I am studying for a bachelor's in math education at King University for K-12. And I was the first in Ms. Hurst's class to pass my Part 107 for drone flights. And I am very grateful for the opportunity. And I am currently in the process of almost completing my internship at Alpha Aviation USA here in New Jersey. And all we just want to say is
you for looking out for everybody. Thank you for being able to see what nobody else don't see in everybody's child.
I knew she could do it.
We always talked about it in the office that Ms. Hurst always said all her kids couldn't take the test and pass the test to fly drones. And each and every kid that did it try to take the test, and each and every one of them are going to pass, and they are going to be able to get the job that they're supposed to be. Just because you're in special need, that don't mean God is not going to open up no doors and give you favors, to give you the things that you think you can't do, because that's what the enemy wants us to think, that we can't do a lot of things, but God says different. My girl gonna be making a lot of money in a minute. She gonna take us out for coffee and tea. I just want to thank everyone that came out. I thank everyone that came out to support her. I thank everyone. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm honored to call this honoree up. Talisha May. She is the founder and president of Tenacity Center of Mental Health. She graduated Rutgers in 2019, and she's the founder and the president of it. She also has a child with mental health, and this is what just like Ms. Talina and some other people that we heard speak tonight, this was a catalyst to make her fight so hard for this. She is a 501c nonprofit organization, and she passionately serves her community in many different functions. So without any further ado, we have Miss Talisha May.
Hello everyone, I'm Talisha May, founder and president of Tenacity Center of Mental Health, Inc. With over 10 years of experience, I embarked on this journey inspired by my son's struggles with ADHD. He requires speech therapy, one-on-one assistance in the classroom, audio learning, and had behavioral issues. As most of you know, this can be difficult to understand and to handle. Well, long story short, he was my inspiration for starting Tenacity. Tenacity aims to create a safe space for youth with disabilities in New Jersey. We provide diverse monthly programs, fostering skills like communication, financial literacy, and mental health awareness. In a world where 1 in 3 children face anxiety and 1 in 5 experience depression, our mentoring program offers a crucial support system. Mentoring relationships foster a sense of belonging and social connection. The presence of a caring mentor can help reduce feelings of loneliness, isolation, and anxiety in mentees. I wish these resources were available for my son when he was growing up. And that's why I wanted to provide a place for parents experiencing the same issues as I did. Parents, I implore you to join us in creating a space where children can learn, express, have fun without judgment. Our inclusive approach aims to address the increasing challenges our youth face. So I'm not going to read off this. So yeah, my son, he was diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 5 years old. I had him when I was 18, and basically I didn't know what to do. My mom is here. So she basically went through it with me, crying. You don't know what your child is crying about. All I could basically say is educate yourself and educate your kids. Once I was educated on mental health, I knew how to communicate effectively with my child, and that, helped us bond and have a better relationship and help decrease, the symptoms, of what he was going through. Of course, they want to put your child in Trinitas, so he went there. They wanted him to do anger management. He 5, so that wasn't going to work. So basically, that's why, that's why I created Tenacity. Like, I want a place where kids can come, they can have fun, but they can also learn at the same time. We do different things with them. We just had like a back to school event. We donated sensory items to schools in Newark and Elizabeth. Prom dress giveaways. We sponsor a youth from John F. Kennedy School for Special Needs in Newark. with the whole everything, you know, glam for prom. We went to the Duran School in Montclair for special needs. We donated a bunch of prom dresses to them. So this is the things that Tenacity does. I want to do things that all kids do, but with kids with special needs. We had our first annual Welcome with Purpose fashion show last April, which was a success. We would love for your children to join us. We're having it March 30th of next year. That's going to be our second annual fashion show. So that's Tenacity. Like, I appreciate you for honoring me and having me here. We just started in October of 2021, and it's just been a blessing for everyone who's partnered with Tenacity and just gave us so many opportunities in the community. We don't just want kids with disabilities. We're inclusive. We want the kids with the IEPs, the kids without the IEPs, the quote-unquote bad kids that you see on the street. We want them too. Because sometimes all these kids need is love, and that's it. And they don't get that at home. Sometimes they need, you know, to come around different people and be in different environments, and that's what we want to provide. That's what Ms. Hurst want to provide. So thank you again for having me here. To my team, thank y'all for dealing with my craziness. And thank you, everybody.
Okay, on behalf of Talina Hurst and the on behalf of Talina Hurst and Wally, Zavy, Kids Can Do, first annual, that means there'll be more, Gala, we present Miss Talisha May.
All right. Talisha, we met by chance.
Instagram.
Instagram.
I was having opinion sick. I said, I need somebody to speak. And somebody literally sent me Wally and Zavy's Instagram. And that's how we met.
Listen, all the hard work that you're doing, I applaud you. Hang in there. Keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing great work and people need to know about it. Okay? Thank you for being you.
All right, one more round of applause, everybody. All right. So this next presenter we're going to call up, honoree, we're going to call up. You might have seen him before. Great guy, great story, you know. Similar story with his son. And so we're going to call him up now, Mr. John Mesco. Okay, he's always working. He needs no introduction. He even introduced himself.
No, not that. Hey, oh, isn't that great? Oh, I'm going to cherish this.
On behalf of Wally and Zavy's Autistic Kids Can
Thank
Do,
you so much.
we want to honor you for all the work that you and Frank are doing.
Thank you.
You're doing awesome work, and people need to know about it. So that's the reason why we're honoring you for all that. I know I was there when you talked to me about it day one.
Thank you. You know, I have to admit, I got, my wife just took down about 50 plaques on the wall. This is the one that's going to stay, okay?
All right.
I like this.
All right.
This honoree is a lawyer and a speech pathologist. All right. I need both of them. I need your number. All right. She has done countless work in this field. And I met her beautiful family. Right? And they told me how to pronounce her last name. So I'm gonna try. That was early on. Right? So it says here that she has worked with special education students throughout the state of New Jersey, enforcing their rights under both state and federal law. So they're very underrepresented in the state with, you know, with all types of situations. I know from law enforcement standpoint or when schools are not heeding to their needs and things of that nature. So without further ado, we're going to call up Lenore Boyarin.
All right.
Another round of applause, everybody.
Well, it's a long time ago. A beautiful woman walked into my office and said, I gotta get Xavier out of the school he's in and into a better place. And it was my honor to pick up that charge. And nothing gratifies me more than to see Wally and Xavier today as the young men that they've become. And the representation did not take very long. Now, I've got a colleague here from my office who's also honoring, and I want to congratulate all the honorees tonight. But most of the time, it doesn't go that easily. And we knew we met for a bigger reason. And I love you, and I think the best thing that I've ever done is support your effort to be an advocate. Because it's not about coming into my office and paying the big bucks. And they are big bucks, and we know everybody can't do that. And you know, Andy and I have a commitment to pro bono. We've been told by the Volunteer Lawyers for Justice that we do more pro bono than any other special education law firm in the state. And I've just started my 21st year just at this firm.
All right.
I'm older than I look. And so yes, I want to thank my friends and family, because you're all really family, for coming out to support me tonight. And I'm not going to embarrass you by going down the row one by one. And just thank you so much. This means more to me than you can ever imagine.
This is my she-reel, guys. On behalf of Wally and Zavy's Autistic Kids Can Do, and all the hard work that you do to make sure that families that have disabled children, especially under the umbrella of autism, get what they need and get what they deserve. Thank you so much for your service and the things that you're doing. The things you're constantly doing. Thank you for trusting me with your child and your story.
Moving on, this next honoree, I have a pleasure of knowing personally. I had the pleasure to see her run for councilwoman and win, move up to council president, taking on any and everything that it has to come with it, and it is not an easy job. People coming to her, and she was able to deliver in her wards. Then she moved on to become freeholder, and then her title switched, and now she's commissioner. And I have called her from my own programs to do things in the city of Plainfield and Union County, and she's always available. She's an advocate for the LGBTQ and women's organizations throughout the state of New Jersey. She has won countless awards, and she's a personal friend of mine, and I thank her for all that she do. So without further ado, Commissioner Rebecca Williams. Tell her that.
Thank you, Bernard. Hi, everyone. I'm really glad to be here, and I bring you greetings on behalf of the Union County Board of County Commissioners. And I did have just a couple of things that I wrote down. I first met Talena, I guess it was about a year and a half ago, maybe. She invited she had just finished organizing, you're still in the process of organizing the Inclusion Center, and she invited the Union County Commissioners down for a tour. So our current chairman, Sergio Granados, I think, stay away from these speakers, right? Our chairman, Sergio Granados, and I was serving as president, as chair of the board last year. We came out and we saw the facility and walked through, and made sure that Talena knew that there were some additional resources, and we were happy to co-sponsor one of your events this year, the car show, right, earlier this year. And I do want to say, you know, I'm really excited to be here because some of you, those of you who live in Union County, hopefully you know, but if you don't know, we actually established an office for persons with disabilities and special needs, and we do a number of programs, so I just wrote a few down. We actually have a sensory-friendly trail up at the Trailside Nature Center at the reservation. We also have a sensory-friendly theater where children with special needs and disabilities, especially children on the autism spectrum, can come and the lights stay on, they can run around. Everyone understands that this is their night, so nobody will be shushing anyone and telling them to behave. So it's a wonderful evening that we do actually mostly during the spring, but we have a number of those kinds of evenings. We also have special needs nights at Willer Spray Park. And right now we're running a program called Arts for All Abilities. So if you go to ucnj.org, you know, these programs, most of these programs are free to the public, or there's a very, very low cost. But the other program, and Brunel sort of alluded to it sort of casually, but we actually just established this month the Blue Envelope program at the county, which is a program that we're doing with law enforcement, and it's literally a blue envelope. This is for people particularly on the autism spectrum if they are involved in a traffic stop. All right? So all of their documents, their license, their registration, their ID, all of that is in a blue envelope in their car, and it marks whether they are verbal or nonverbal, so that, as we know, historically, there are a number of traffic stops that turn out very, very badly. So this program has just been implemented, and every single officer in Union County and all of our municipalities will be receiving specialized training to understand the needs of people on the autism spectrum. So we are hopeful that this program will be, well, I know it's going to be very, very successful, but it also speaks to the commitment that, you know, I hope you know that we have for what you do here, and any resources that you need, I'm so glad we have an inclusion center, so that we actually have a place where we can refer people. We do a lot of referrals, and we do our own services, but to have a place, especially in Plainfield, where I reside, where kids can go and be free, be educated, and develop that learning and understanding. Yes. Very, very, very happy to be supportive of you. And thank you to Lenore and all the honorees. And as a county, we welcome everyone. We welcome all immigrants. We welcome everyone. And nobody speaks funny. Nobody speaks funny. Thank you.
Commissioner, on behalf of Wally and Zavy's Autistic Kids Can Do, we honor you for all the support and things that you do for the disability community. I don't know if a lot of people know, but she does a lot, guys. She does a lot of things for people with disabilities and special needs. So we want to congratulate you and honor you, and thank you for all the work that you're doing and all the work you're going to do. Thank you so much. All right, thank you.
Next honoree is a special education attorney that overcame his difficulties as a classified student himself. Give him a round of applause for that, everybody. So just in case you didn't hear me, this next honoree is a special education attorney who overcame his when he was classified as a student to become an attorney. He works for the New Jersey Attorney General's office, and he has prosecuted over 20 cases as an intern in Philadelphia. Without further ado, I want to call up to the stage Mr. Attorney Andrew Meltzer. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What I always say is that in order to do this area of law, you really got to live through it. I've lived it, I've learned it, I've litigated it. And it's through colleagues like Lenore who taught me all I need to know, and my family that taught me how to fight and advocate. That's why I do what I do today. So thank you so much, and it's an honor to represent kids with you.
Andrew, on behalf of Wally and Zavy's Autistic Kids Can Do, we honor all the efforts that you're doing and things that you're going to do. Listen, I really appreciate you helping me be in that ear that I can come to.
My pleasure.
When I'm stumped, I know who to call, Lenore or Andrew. And that's what I do. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm proud of you as well. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, now we're going to introduce our keynote speaker. His name is Philip D. Woolfork. He is the COO of African American Chamber of Commerce, which I am also a member of. And I just want to say that he is a very, very smart man. Very smart man. And he's a very nice guy as well. So we welcome you to speak. And thank you for being our keynote.
Thank you very much. So give Mrs. Hurst another hand. This has been really awesome witnessing this. So as she said, I serve as the Chief Operations Officer for the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey, and I'm basically filling in for our founder, President, and CEO, John Harmon, who couldn't be here today. So on behalf of our founder, I'd just like to say that basically the Chamber serves as a organization to mitigate the challenges and barriers our people face across the state of New Jersey. So that's the work that we do on a daily basis. So I'm going to keep this a little short because the hour's gotten late and people have had their dessert, got their winning lottery tickets, and they're probably ready to roll up out of here. So when I was preparing for this, I had a couple of thoughts, and one thought was related to really finding your genius. I think everybody, we're in proximity to genius more so than we really think, and with that in mind, something our president and CEO talks about quite a bit is if you take a look at the lights in this room, you think about Thomas Edison as the one who invented the light bulb. But you don't really think so much about Lewis Latimer, who invented the filament that allows the light bulb to stay on. And so for me, that really symbolizes the idea of proximity to genius. I happen to sit on the board of an organization called U.S. Medical Innovations. And the founder, president, and CEO of that organization is a multi-organ transplant surgeon. He's an African American who went to college on a track scholarship. And he has about 50 patents. One of the things he has invented is a medical device that uses plasma technology. So when you're making an incision on a patient, it coagulates the blood, coagulates the veins and vessels, minimizes the loss of blood, and minimizes the need for blood transfusion. And so that is another symbolism as it relates to proximity to genius. The other thought that I had, it was related to finding your superpower. So I was on the internet recently, and there was a young man who was autistic who was in this basement playing the piano. And he's never had piano lessons. And his dad hears him playing the piano and decides he needs to get him a piano. So he gets a desktop piano, and his son starts playing more and playing more. And then another gentleman who was more in a financial position to bless this family basically purchased a baby grand piano, had it delivered to the house, and this young man is playing the piano at a level of Mozart and has never had piano lessons, and he's autistic. So I think that basically he has found his superpower. And so when you think about people who are on the spectrum, who have these different challenges mentally, that there is something within them that allows them to do things beyond what you might normally think they can do. So when you talk about autistic kids can do, I think that is a realistic expectation, that there are things they can do that you wouldn't normally think they can do. Some of my research is interesting, listening to the gentleman talk about some of the technology. And when I thought about technology and I started researching about technology, it was very interesting. I had dinner last week with a group that is in the publishing industry. And I had a conversation with him, and we somehow ended up on the conversation about autism. And it turns out he and his partner had developed software that uses this behavioral protocols to really help people with disabilities be able to overcome some of their disabilities. And he gave an example of a young man who was autistic, and at the dinner table what he would typically do is he would take the pitcher of water and he would pour it on the table and get everybody wet. And so they used this software and this technology that was developed, and they put this young man in the video, and they used that video to simulate him taking a picture and pouring the water in a cup. And through repetition, over time, they were able to change his behavior from dumping the pitcher out to actually being able to come to a dinner like this and pour the water in a cup. So that's something that doesn't seem like something that's very significant for someone who is considered sort of neurotypical, what we consider normal. But to a family that is dealing with that sort of experience, that is a monumental change and a monumental shift in the behavior that really allows that person to begin to assimilate more readily. The other thing I found out is that the unemployment level for people who are autistic is somewhere around 85%. And so when you think about this whole idea about diversity, equity, and inclusion, that diversity, equity, and inclusion also should include neurodiversity. So if companies can make accommodations for people who are on the spectrum with autism, and make accommodations that allows them to assimilate into the workplace, I think there are people who can do certain types of jobs if they're giving an opportunity to do those jobs. And there's certain training that they can do and certain behaviors, using some of the technology and protocols that they talked about earlier, that really would allow people to really be able to make that leap. And so I think between your core genius And this idea of finding your superpower, that is something that exists really within all of us. So just to show you how people think and how people think differently. So there's this story. A tractor trailer drives under a bridge and gets stuck. The driver apparently wasn't paying attention to the height requirement, so he gets stuck under the bridge. So they bring these folks out to get the truck out. So they got engineers, they got welders, they have all of these people who are going to help get this truck out. So there's a little boy standing off to the side, and he goes over to the police officer and says, "Mister," and the guy says, "Can't you see we're very busy? You know, get off to the side, you're in the way, we have things to do here." So the little boy goes back, he looks again, and he's puzzled at all of what they're doing that is not working. So he goes back and he says to the officer again, "Hey, mister." And the officer finally says to him, what is it you want, kid?" And he said, "Take the air out the tires." And so sometimes we're using all of these complicated things to get things done, and someone who is thinking differently may have an idea, a concept, a protocol that allows you to accomplish something. So there are companies out there that are trying to figure things out. And they're trying to figure things out with people who have PhDs and all sorts of training and education. They might need someone who is on the spectrum that thinks about things completely different, that gets some training and expertise within whatever that industry happens to be, and they may have the idea that allows them to achieve their purpose from a business standpoint and really be able to overcome whatever obstacle they have. So in closing, I'll just say this. There's been some really interesting things that I've discovered from being here today. A lot of love and commitment to really be able to help these folks live a better life. And my prayer for you is that God will bless you more abundantly than you could ever ask or think, and that you keep in mind this idea that autistic kids can do, because I think they really can. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Selena. Everything was beautiful. I feel like we had a great, successful party tonight. And let it be just the first one, because we'll see you here next year too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Ms. Hurst, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor knowing you. It's a pleasure. I'm happy to see you every other day at the office. Just thank you for being a very nice person. I appreciate you, and I hope to build more memories with you in the future.
Yeah, I was totally touched by the whole idea of finding your superpower and proximity to genius, because those are things that kind of inspire me in my business, the work that I do, as a graphic artist, as a product developer. Proximity to genius and finding your superpower are things that I live by daily. So hearing those words were very important to me, very inspiring. I love the reminder, and I love the energy of being around all these great people doing this kind of work. Thank you.
Ms. Hurst, I just want to say it's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for everything that you have done, with and for my organization. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for encouraging me. And thank you for all that you do for the community.
Thank you. Same here. Look at all the things that you're doing.
I appreciate you. Everyone at this event appreciates you. And of course, your kids appreciate you. Your kids that you birthed and the kids that you didn't birth, right? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring others. We love you and keep up the great work.